you here. Let me take roll again. Ed Peters,
Here.
Mark Helwig, Kay Wilson, Brian Bissonette,
Here.
Jason Weaver, Kevin Sheptick. You have a quorum. Well, no, you don't.
Mark Helwig did email last night. He's going to be out of town today, and
Yes.
I'll look
Okay.
into that.
There is no quorum.
We don't have a quorum.
Oh, well, no, that's Jay. I don't know who is 715-492-9068. I don't
That
know
would
who
be,
that
I
is.
bet, is that Mark? Is that Kevin?
I-
492, I think is.
With the person with the phone number 715-492-9068, identify themselves, please.
Oh, I'm Terrell Betzer.
Who is this?
Terrell or Terry Betzer. I'm with the Third County Record.
Okay, thanks, Terrell. There's 3 out of 6. We do not have Kevin, Jason, or Mark.
Hmm.
You can it's on next month's meeting. You can put your minutes on next month's meeting to approve, but
I can't take any action.
yeah. But Greg's annual
Yeah.
plan and stuff, that needs a quorum. If you need votes on your annual plan, your 5-year plan or anything, that needs a quorum. Okay. Oh,
Yes.
that's geez.
Yes. Oh. Well, this is a fine kettle of fish.
Paul, Jason, Kevin, wake him up.
Yeah, Jason, this is Andy at the county. Are you able to call Randolph for the meeting this morning? For sure. Okay, thanks.
Okay. So we can proceed with, well. Yes.
Okay, Mr. Weaver, I'm marking you present at 8:35 a.m.
Thank you very much. Item number 3, well, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item 4, certification of compliance with open meetings law.
This meeting has been noticed to the public and news media as required by section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you. Public comments? Don't see any. No public comments. Item 6, considering approval of minutes from the September 13th, 2023 minutes or meeting.
September 13th.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from September 13th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Next item, item number 7, Register of Deeds report. Don't see anyone to give a summary of that, but it looks like everything is there. I did have a personal question. I don't know what Daniel's Law policy is.
So I apologize. I had Lynn upload this morning, and you can take it and read it. This is just more for information. Daniel's Law is a federal law that protects federal judges. Essentially says that, and I included a kind of the background information from Wisconsin County Association, actually from our corp counsel, Andy Phillips and Jake Curtis, but it's the Daniel Anderl Judicial Security and Privacy Act of 2022 that protects federal judges and their families by requiring federal agencies to maintain confidentiality of their personal identifiable information upon their request. So that essentially it's a shielding law that in certain filings or documents, their personal information should be redacted at their request. There's some question as to whether or not it's a federal law, it applies to federal agencies, but it also extends down to state and local governments. So whether it strictly applies to us has been something of a question. You can read the attachment, and then I just added in there, we've put together an internal directive primarily for the Register of Deeds. There was a county in the region that had a request from a out-of-state federal judge that owned land in the county to have their personal address redacted from the documents in the Register of Deeds.
I see.
So pretty much the Register of Deeds Association came up with a template that we've put in place. So if the Register of Deeds gets that request, they will follow through in the software and redact any personal identifying information. And then we share that with Corp Counsel so they can determine if any other departments need to be notified that we might have other documents internal that need to be shielded.
Okay, there's no
No,
action that needs to be taken on.
no.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item number 8, events, discussion and possible action. Any events?
No applications this month.
Okay. Land records and county surveyor report. We have the property lister report and a report on county surveyor. Any questions or comments? Apparently there was a county-owned parcel in Village of Radisson that needed some locating. Is there any more information about that?
I'm not sure if Brian knows about that.
Okay,
I would have to follow up with maintenance or Chris to find out which property. that
okay,
was.
Yep, I'm not familiar with that property necessarily.
Okay, thank you, Brian.
Yep.
Moving on to item 10, recreational trails report. I didn't see a report there, so, but
I've got a brief report from Kathy LaRue here. She states that the clubs have begun fall trail work to ready the trails for the snowmobile season, which includes signage replacement and improvements, brushing, grading, and clearing of damaged trees. Constant heavy rain has caused trail washouts, which they have been addressing as we hear of them. And of course, the trails are wet, muddy with growing water holes. Regardless, the busy fall ATV season is underway, and we've seen many large groups riding in the area. Just last week, a member talked to a group of 64 ATV UTVs who rode over to Sawyer County from the Webb Lake area. These riders spent the night in Sawyer County and rode our trails, as well as purchased gas, sundries, food, and beverages at our businesses. Some conservative estimates show this group alone put out well over $30,000 into our shoulder season economy just in this short overnight visit and 2-day ride. So that's all I have from her.
okay, wow. Any questions? Moving on to section B, county forestry report. Greg?
Okay, for September, we had 15 sales listed as active. We're still plugging away with difficult markets and weather conditions that aren't real conducive to fall logging with all the wet, but we're still moving along. Sale value sold and uncut on file right now is just over 4.6 million. Sale revenue for September was 148,000. So our year to date is 1.81 million. We're creeping ever closer to our budgeted amount for the year. So with what we have billed out and the sale activity, we should surpass our revenue budget for the year easily. Sale inspections are on target. Tract establishment, we have had quite a few tracts written up and turned in. We're reviewing them right now, and our fall timber sale bid prospectus should be going out this week once we finish all of our reviews and put the prospectus together. Recon updates are well on target for our goal. We're still working on Good Neighbor Authority, a little over 40 hours put in for this year. Other than that, we're still working through the oak wilt possible sites. We're kind of running out of time on that now, but still verifying the sites that the DNR detected in the aerial survey. The carbon credit project, the inventory plots should be just about wrapped up here. I think they had a deadline of next week to finish those up. So we'll see where we go with that once they calculate our actual carbon numbers out of these plots. And also we did have our annual County Forest Association fall meeting on the 27th and 28th at the Flat Creek Lodge here in Hayward. All forestry staff did attend that. We had some pretty good presentations and overviews of a lot of different issues that the counties are working through right now. So other than that, that's all I have.
I was just when you mentioned about the price of wood, I just was talking to someone yesterday who is a firewood producer and said that the price that he was having to pay has gone up, and so I was just found that kind of interesting with the.
That is interesting because I think a lot of our contractors they've got a lot of wood that they could sell for firewood, but probably with the stumpage that they paid, a lot of that stuff, they're kind of locked in on their production costs. So that's probably what that's reflecting, but there should be a lot of firewood available. With the hardwood markets, we've got a fair number of hardwood that's sitting on the landing right now. They're limited to how much that they can move, per week. So
Sure.
There should be some opportunities, I would think, for cheaper firewood, but like I said, they get locked in on a price. And
yeah, I've found it interesting. Was that 2-line chestnut borer? Is that maybe because of the dry conditions? I noticed that something from Minnesota about that.
Yep, that's exactly it. So the chestnut borer is always here. But it's kind of a cleanup type species that when the oak trees get stressed from drought, especially, they tend to wreak some havoc and really do some damage with the dry weather. So a lot of the sites that initially think could be oak wilt are turning out to be chestnut borer.
Oh, okay.
Which is good.
Yeah.
But it's still mortality, but it's a natural occurrence that once we get into a wetter cycle again, those numbers will decrease and things should be okay.
Thank you. Any questions? Moving on to DNR forestry report.
There's no official report from me this month, other than just bringing up last month's meeting. There was a question about the CWD and baiting within the county. And I'm sure everybody has heard the verdict on that now, but as of October 5th, the baiting and feeding in Sawyer County is no longer a thing that is legal, I guess, to put it that way, for at least 2 years, unless another occurrence is found in Sawyer County or within a 10-mile radius of the county. So for any more information, you can find any of that on the DNR website.
Yes. Thank you. Any questions? Moving on to zoning conservation department.
Yeah, we had several dam inspections that were conducted by our engineer firm. These included the Price Dam and Fish Trap Dam. We have earmarked the Fish Trap Dam as in need of repair or replacement. That would be within the next several years, and we would get that under a municipal dam grant. So have kind of indicated that as part of CIP requests, capital improvement projects moving forward here. But that'll really start ramping up the next couple years to get that on the budget for some type of either repair, replacement, or to fire up again the conversations of potential lake district and charging that money back to those on that lake. Fish Trap doesn't have a lot of residents on it. That'd be quite a bit of money that would be allocated to those individuals unless the county would pick up the bill. I have no idea what that project would end up costing. Price of dam replacements have gone drastically up over the last half a decade. So it wouldn't be surprising that that would be another $800,000 project, if not more. So keep that in mind moving forward.
What kind of dam is that? I'm just curious. Is it
Right now it's just culverts. It's two culverts that do have, stop logs. So we would probably be looking at a full type of replacement, and actually we'd have to talk to the engineers to what they would suggest that be replaced with, but generally we wouldn't have the culverts there anymore. There is also one structure that would be in the dam failure shadow, that if that dam was to blow, that structure would be inundated with water. It's directly downstream of that. That saving grace, there is only one structure that would be inundated, but something that keeps that as a high hazard rating, which we have to do annual inspections on as opposed to 5-year inspections on. We did contract with APHIS to do additional beaver trapping at the Carlson Lane Bridge culvert. This controls Little Round Lake and Round Lake. It used to be more of a dam and box culvert structure. We now replace that with just a larger culvert, but the beavers are making that their home. So we contracted with APHIS because we are still on the hook for maintaining that channel of free flowing. So we are having someone get in there to trap the beavers, and then have also been in contact with the county highway department to see if they can get machinery in there to actually remove the dam that they have started to create. The conservation department has been doing several on-site inspections this month, looking at shoreline erosion projects, general inquiries and complaints. The tree order has been submitted for the spring tree sale. Online ordering will start in the month of November. The zoning department continues to see above average land use permits. As of October 4th, we were up 18 permits over the same time as last year, which is a total of 461 land use permits. This then kind of wraps into item B for an AIS resolution grant. This resolution is then needed to basically submit for the grant. So we talked last month about the AIS grant that we want to submit for this year. The resolution that you have in front of you would basically give me the ability to go out and submit for those grants. This is something that the DNR requires as part of this grant submittal. And we've done this in the past as well. So with that, that would be as item B. We would need a motion on that. And from my knowledge, we've only needed it from this committee. It would not need to go to full county board.
Okay. I noticed that the agreement is quite long, and I'm assuming that that's basically just rolls over from the previous agreement, or pretty much.
It does, yeah. We've had these in the past, and again, as part of the grant submittal, it requires a resolution signed by the committee of jurisdiction that basically then authorizes me to be the signature to secure the grants. Otherwise, every grant step I would have to bring back in front of this committee. But if you're like I am, I like having grant money available and would just like to be the signer to get that said money for the county.
And the term of the grant is, or term of the agreement is, I noticed what, 4 years or 5 years?
A 5-year.
5 years, and so that's just standard, so.
Yep.
So I guess any questions? Okay, anybody? Brian? Jay?
No, I would make a motion to approve the resolution though.
I'll second that.
Okay. Been moved and seconded to approve the resolution for the AIS grant application. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of approving this resolution, signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, it's approved. And any votes against? Since we have to record the for and in favor and against, so thank you.
Yep. And then I believe Lynn has you have the copy of that still? Okay,
Yep, right
for
up here.
signatures.
So
Perfect.
it's right up here to sign, so Jason and Brian, you can sign that at the meeting next week probably, so, but we'll get it started today. Thank you.
Yeah, and then the next several items we have deal with the wildlife damage aspects, and we do have the representative from APHIS here, Seth Zessiger, so I'll kind of hand it over to you to kind of go through the next several items.
Is anybody familiar with the wildlife damage program? Okay, so just a brief overview. It's a state program offered to the counties. The county can opt to participate in. Sawyer County has chosen to do so and has contracted out that service with USDA APHIS Wildlife Services to administer it on their behalf. So it's a 5-year contract that was first signed in 2019, expires at the end of 2023. So this is the year that it would have to be renewed if the county would like to continue their participation in that for the next 5 years, 2024 through 2028. So it might make a little bit more sense to address item D before item C. If the county is willing and wants to renew that contract to participate in the program and continue contracting with USDA to administer the program on your behalf.
So we would need a motion to approve the 5-year plan of administration for the APHIS contract.
Correct.
And then we could go back and take a look at the actual amounts.
The 2024 budget, right?
Yes.
I make a motion to approve the contract.
Okay,
I'll second.
thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the 5-year plan for the APHIS contract. All in favor, or any other discussion, excuse me? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Motion passes.
I will need signatures on these documents, but would that be something that would make more sense to take care of after the meeting, just so I don't tie things up?
I think that would probably be
Okay.
helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. So the next item I have for you guys would be the 2024 budget. Slight increase over 2023, mostly due to the congressionally mandated cost of living increase. That's nothing that really our agency has any control over. And that operating costs, includes everything from salary, direct purchase of abatement materials, capture and relocation of bears, and then just pool job costs, administrative overhead. So I think I have the numbers here. Like I said, slight increase over last year, about 3.5% over 2023. This is pass-through funding. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of that. So it's not something that actually comes out of the county checkbook. Jay is probably a little bit more familiar with this process than I am. This budget is our projected cost to operate the program in 2023. but it ultimately comes from the state. It's passed through funding. I'm not sure exactly how it works if the state submits a bill to the county or if you prepare an invoice and submit that to the county, but the county is 100% reimbursed from it.
Yeah, it generally is that the county would end up paying for the services, then we would allocate the funds back from the state.
Okay, okay.
But it is as a no net increase to our budget is pass through money.
So action on this,
I would say it'd be a motion to approve the budget as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2024 budget.
okay,
I'll second.
okay, thank you. It's been moved and seconded to approve the wildlife damage 2024 budget as presented. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Next item I would have would be setting the 2023 crop prices. This is the prerogative of the committee. The prices that I am proposing are a yearly average that I've maintained. This is just a starting point for you guys. I did provide a list of sources that I drew that from, just so you know, I'm not pulling it out of thin air. It's usually coming from local markets. But again, just a starting point. If you guys feel one way or another strongly that should be manipulated one way or the other, as long as you have justification for it, the DNR will approve it.
Any questions about? The only thing I did notice is on the, oh, that's, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Any questions? Brian or Jason?
No, I don't.
No, if these are standard, that's fine by me.
Yeah, the prices are just taking the yearly average of other local markets.
Correct.
Yes.
I provided several other options, current average with basis, projected harvest prices from October through November, since when that's most of the harvest takes place. However, a lot of the producers, they don't just sell it immediately. They'll put it in grain bins and try timing the market, through spring and summer, just to try capitalizing on the best prices. So I think that yearly average is probably the most fair way to capture all that.
Any other questions? So we need a motion to approve the crop price proposal, please.
Yes, please.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. The second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the crop price proposal for 2023, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And then we move on to the damage assessment.
Correct. So final item I have would be setting a damage assessment deadline, which is when the last date that producers can call in to request me to do a damage appraisal. This is guided by state statute and administrative code. We have two options there. One of them is we can set the deadline at when 90% of the crops have been harvested in the county. That's fairly difficult to try to determine just due to variability in planting dates, maturities within and across fields. I have been able to find that information in the past through the National Agricultural Statistics Services. They didn't have that available this year. So the very last date that I can possibly set it is the day prior to the start of winter. And I believe that's, like I said, it's either in code or statute. The DNR will not pay claims for wildlife damage that occurs to standing crops over winter. So I selected the day prior to the start of winter just because, it was a wet spring that delayed planting. And that turned into a drought, which delayed crop maturity severely. So I thought that this would be the most reasonable, give the guys just as much opportunity as they had to request a damage appraisal.
I guess the only thing that I noted was that in the justification for the proposed date, had to interpret what was showing up on the fill in the blank after that for a couple of words, but I think I got the gist of it. So
If you had any suggestions on what would need tweaked there to make it a little bit more understandable, I'm all open to it.
okay, I mean, the only one that I had was highly and then weather conditions.
Highly variable.
I assumed it was variable, so that was.
Yeah,
but
correct. Yeah.
Thank you. That was, but it just was little bit of interpretation there. Thank you. So any we need a motion to accept the wildlife damage abatement claims program deadline date of December 20th, 2023.
I'll make a motion to accept the date of the claim program.
It's been moved to accept that wildlife damage abatement claims program date. Have a second, please.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. I guess
That's all I have for you guys, unless you have any other questions for me.
I don't see that. Thank you very much.
You bet.
The only other thing I saw was Mr. Sheptick's report, and he's not here. So, and finally, Supervisor Bissonette, do you have an LCO report?
I don't. I just want to let everybody know that I will have a final report available at next month's meeting in regards to our fish hatchery operations this year. I know that they did a pretty good job, but I don't have the numbers currently today, but I will get them. And so currently, a lot of my staff is working to winterize our hatchery operations. Other than that, the same problems with our ATV trails out here at LCO. A lot of mud potholes. We're gonna try to fix what we can. It's so wet. It's problematic for the whole trail system within the county. Other than that, I don't have too much of public interest.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions for Brian? Moving on to item 12, future agenda items. We'll be looking forward to the fish hatchery report from LCO. Anything else? Any correspondence or reports from conferences or meetings? Hearing none, we are adjourned.
Thank you.